Yeah, I thought about this too. Um, just keep on doing what you're doing. Uh, yeah, if you're listening to this and you have your own channel, just do covers that you want to do. Don't be intimidated by other channels, uh, no matter what your level is. Uh, Everybody has something special to bring to the table, and it might take you longer to find your special something, whether it's playing fast or playing slow. But once you find it, people are going to notice and they're going to keep coming back to your channel. And yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. And joining me today is a special guest hailing from South Korea, Spiro Drums. How you doing, brother?
Hey, everybody. I'm Spiro. Good to be on your show, Brian.
No worries, and thanks for coming on. Where at in South Korea are you? You close to Seoul by any chance?
Yeah, I'm in Seoul, right in the middle. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. How's it out there this time of the year?
Uh, the weather is pretty similar to my home country, USA. I'm from Michigan, so we have 4 seasons here. It's like, you know, getting close to snow. So
Almost wintertime, yeah.
yeah, almost wintertime.
Winter is coming, as the famous Game of
Yeah.
Thrones quote would go.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much for coming on here, bud. This podcast, we just like to get to know drummers a little bit more and get to know their backstory and everything. And you can also share, if you're part of anything else, feel free to share. Let's
Sure.
roll into it. You ready?
Ready?
All right, so let's just pull up the questions here. Let's start with the first one. How did you get into drumming? Let's learn a little bit about yourself.
Well, my dad's a drummer and a singer, and he plays guitar. So I grew up watching him in his band. He had a band in Michigan. They were called Trilogy. They played weddings, business parties. I believe in the 80s, that's when I was born, to the 90s, and a little bit after that too. I grew up watching him. He sang and played the drums, and I was like, wow, I want to do that. He had a record collection in the basement. Um, he had a Buddy Rich record. I was stuck to that. He had some Miles Davis records, and that's how I got into love jazz. Yeah, and it just went from there. My parents moved us to a school district with a great jazz band director for the local high school, and I went to school for jazz. I got my master's degree in jazz drums in New York City. So, yeah, it's my dad's fault.
Yeah, I can understand too, because my dad wasn't necessarily instrumentalist like how your dad was, but he played bass guitar a little bit. So I kind of blame him
Okay.
for any instrument I
Awesome.
wanted to pick up. But I picked
Yeah.
up other instruments like the cello and then later on the drums and stuff like that. So too, how come none of the other instruments like clicked with you? Because you said you did guitar and what other instruments?
So, in the fifth grade, when I had the official audition for band, I picked the trumpet because I wanted to mess with my dad, and uh, he took me down to the basement where the drums were, and I came up and I said, Mom, I'm switching from the trumpet to the drums. So she was kind of mad at him, but I kind of played a joke on my dad. So that's how how it went. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we got to credit the parents and everything too.
yeah,
For
exactly.
if
My
I was,
mom was a singer too, so
oh, you grew up in a family of musicians and stuff like that.
yeah. And my two younger sisters played drums at school as well. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah,
You guys ever
yeah,
do like
yeah.
a little collaboration video together where all three of you are playing drums at once to, let's just say like Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes?
No, that would have been fun, but I did get to play with the middle sister in the high school drum line. So she played the cymbals, and I was the section leader. So
I see.
yeah, it was great. Yeah.
I guess when did you move out to Seoul, South Korea? Because it seems like you come from Michigan and then you go practically the other side of the world all the way to Seoul. I guess was this part of your college, or I guess what happened?
Yeah, so it was undergraduate was in Michigan at Western Michigan University. Then I went to get my graduate degree in New York. So I was there for 4 years in Queens, and then met my wife, and she's from Korea, and we moved there in 2013. So, or here, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in Korea now. Yeah,
Yes. No, we are in a secret location somewhere else.
yeah, and I'm saying that because I work on cruise ships, so I've been in other parts of the world recently. So it's like, yeah, I'm home, I'm on vacation, and that's why I had to wait for your invitation because of the, not so great internet Wi-Fi connection. So
Yeah, I can see about that. We'll get to your cruise ship just in a little bit, but
yeah,
get into the drumming. I guess, is your kid nearby by any chance, or is it somewhere else right now?
somewhere else.
Okay.
Actually packed up.
Oh,
So
really? All right.
yeah.
I guess just walk us through your kit. What do you got?
Here I have basically something for each limb. So I don't have a full kit because I'm always, like I said, I'm working on the cruise ship, so I've consolidated. Um, I have a kit that I can take on the subway, I can take in the taxi for these wedding gigs, business parties. Um, yeah, just like high-end crazy stuff. Like I'll show up and it'll be a K-pop group or something I don't know until the end of the gig. I'm like, hey, did you know who you played for? I'm like, no. And like, so yeah, I have a small bass drum. It's a Sonar Safari bass drum that I actually cut. There's a video. I restored it, painted it, and everything. So now it's lighter. So it was red. Now it's orange. I have Paiste cymbals, Zildjian hi-hats. I like Sonar hardware, and the snare drum. I've had a lot of snare drums. I'm a snare drum geek, so I've had Pearl, Gretsch, Ludwig, but I've settled on CNC. They're like a little company in USA, I think, based out of Missouri, and they do something special with the bearing edges. So it's where the drum head contacts the shell of the drum, and it gives it a softer feel on the hands. And I'm getting older, so that's nice. Yeah, and the snare drum is all mahogany wood from Brazil and Africa. So I'm getting pretty nerdy now. So
Well, at least no, it wasn't made in China, so that's at least a good thing right there.
yeah, yeah,
But it seems like you customized a good drum set from like
yes,
different parts of the world.
exactly.
So you got some from
Yeah,
Missouri, Brazil. I mean,
yeah.
is this a set you've been rolling with for a good while, or is this like one you just recently got into?
Um, yeah, I get a new snare pretty often. But yeah, I've had it for almost a year. Yep. And I really like it because on the cruise ship I hit pretty hard, and this drum has 8 lugs. And for whatever reason, the science behind 8 lugs versus 10, uh, the drum stays in tune longer, more tension per lug instead of 10. So I'd find uh, snare drum screws lying on the floor after playing one 45-minute show, and it wasn't fun because I'd be playing backbeats and uh, the snare drum would keep going out of tune. So this new drum is really really nice, mahogany, and it sent me back quite a lot, like $1,000. So, but yeah, it's totally worth it. If anybody's listening, CNC drums, they're great. So
You definitely got to check them out. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
You kind of mentioned about your cruise ship here a little bit, so let's get into that. How'd you get into being in the cruise ship?
Uh, let's see. So working here in Korea, we decided to travel the world, and the company that we work for, they're great. They let us go together. So me and my wife hop on the ship and play together, and we go wherever the ship goes. And it's like playing on land, except you just stay on the ship. It's really nice.
Are you like,
So
do you help out with the musician? Or are you like assistant with like all sorts of activities on the cruise ship?
uh, no activities, just I'm in the main orchestra in the theater. So I it's actually pretty intense. You have to be able to read music like right away. Um, so let's say, for example, somebody from The Voice, the TV show, like the person who won season one comes on. They say, hey, it's 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., wherever we are, 4 p.m. They hand us the charts. Um, we rehearse 4 to 5, and then we have a show at 7. So I've been doing this for a while, and I'm still hired, so I guess I'm doing a good job. But I've heard stories, people will get fired right away because they can't read, and it's really hard because a lot of the music that I get is not written by drummers. You can see that right away. So
Mm.
it's a lot of translating on the spot, like, oh, what is this? What is that? So it's a very stressful few hours, but yeah, it's nice.
Let's see. Do you stick to just the waters in and around like Japan, or do you guys sometimes go to like China and then Southeast Asia?
Ah, so actually, none of those places.
Really?
Yeah, so it's usually the Caribbean and Mexico, and then it's depending on the season. Uh, the ship will cross over to the Mediterranean or the Baltic. Um, so this past contract, we were based out of UK, and I got to go to some amazing places. And luckily, some nights we had off, and I could, enjoy the ports just like a guest. So, but yeah, and those places you mentioned, I really want to go to, even though they're so close to here. It's yeah, I want to go to Japan and China, and yeah, but no, the company's based out of Miami, and it's uh, guests want to pay for Caribbean cruises, Mediterranean cruises, and Alaskan cruises. That seems to be the most popular itineraries. So
Oh,
yeah,
I see. So this company, they'll give you a contract and then you fly to a certain destination. That's where you get on the boats and everything. Then you
yeah,
go for all these places and you play your shows and all that stuff too.
yeah. So the not so fun thing is flying 30 hours. So yeah,
I know
but
what you
once
mean.
I get there, it's good. So
Oh my gosh, the jet lag is absolutely terrible. Anytime I go to Europe, I just want to spend the rest of that day just sleeping on the bed and then just wake up the next morning completely refreshed.
yes,
I know just going to Hungary, for instance, that one, it was probably one of the best sleeps I ever had, but then I just crashed right on the bed. I felt a little rejuvenated, but you want to make sure that you're still good to like wake up the next
right,
day and be like, oh man, we got a trip ahead of us, man. We got to go out there and go, that sort of thing.
exactly,
But then your schedule's all out of whack because you jumped into a different time zone and everything. So I see.
exactly.
So I guess where'd your recent trip take you?
The highlights were Iceland, um, Rome, and Italy. Uh, the I guess the Canary Islands. They're off the coast of West Africa, um, and Amsterdam. I went to the Vincent van Gogh Museum, which was nice. I didn't know a lot about him, but I learned a lot, and it's very interesting. Um, yeah, yeah,
I've
and a
been
lot of
everywhere, man. I've been
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people say, "Wow, you've been everywhere, and you're, blah blah blah." But it kind of gets similar. You see a lot of the same things like Zara, H&M, McDonald's, and you're like, "Oh, we're going to this exotic place off the coast of Africa," and you start to see the same things all over again. It's and cargo ships, and you know um, the sites are amazing, but it's it's interesting. A lot of things are similar all over the world. So
It's funny you mentioned about
yeah,
the McDonald's because
yeah,
in Pulp Fiction, I was thinking of the McDonald's scene where instead of like a quarter pounder with cheese, they call it a Royale with cheese. And
right,
I
right.
don't know, have you ever watched Pulp Fiction before?
I have, yes. I
I
love Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, his movies are very killer too. And I was also thinking of it was actually more of a horror movie. Poseidon was dealt with a cruise ship getting knocked over from this giant tsunami that just happened to come out of nowhere and knock every that boat over. And
Ah,
then it's like kind of that survival horror kind of thing going on there. I'd never seen it,
yeah.
but now it's like that kind of deterred me from going on cruise ships now because I do not want that happening to me. So
Uh, yeah, my cousin is he was in the Navy, and he said it takes a lot to sink a ship, which that kind of calmed my nerves. But the one thing is that we get training on weekly is fires. So yeah, I don't think you'd have to worry about Poseidon or any crazy waves, which there are, and they're it makes it seem like everybody's, had a few too much to drink walking down the hallway, and everybody's swaying
wait,
together.
yeah,
So
that sort of thing. But I was also seeing like these videos, like I assume it was probably in the North Sea or something, but just these giant waves, and I guess it was either these uh, boats for fishing companies or stuff like that, or even
yeah,
like the Navy and stuff like that, just go on these waves and just come down. It's like that sort of thing.
right,
I'm thinking
right,
like
right, right.
I'd be like, I'm losing my mind here. I need to get back to dry land. And
Yeah,
then once you get back
yeah,
to dry land, land, you
right,
just
right.
land and start kissing Mother Earth, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
I guess, what was the most scary experience you had on a cruise?
Mm, actually, so I had a 4-month contract, and the night before I was signing off, it was 12:30 a.m. and the fire alarm went off. So I was told my face turned white. I jumped out of bed, and everybody was like, "What's going on?" And I heard guests went to the top floor with their life jackets, and I heard some people got their suitcases, packed their suitcases. We're still on water, People get crazy when there's an emergency. But I guess a bird fell down the smokestack and fell down into the engine and burned up and started a small fire.
Oof.
Um, but luckily it wasn't a big thing. But yeah, it was just scary, but nothing really happened. And another one is uh, you'd think between the U.S. and Europe, sailing between there, the sea would be rough, but it's not. But off the coast of Florida, like Tampa Bay area, it's it's horrible. Like you're in your bed, and the wave like presses you all the way into your mattress, and then you're kind of like flying above your mattress up and down. But it's not rough. It's very smooth, but it's intense.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And I've actually fallen off my drum seat once during a show.
That must have been a little scary. Especially,
Yeah.
was it just a bad wave? Just happened to knock you out?
Yeah. But being around all the people and having everybody laugh together, it's kind of comforting. So,
We're all good. We all got out of
Yeah,
there. That's a sort of thing.
exactly.
I guess you didn't
Yeah.
have any scares with COVID, did you? Because I see some of those things on the news, like the cruise ships had to be stuck out of ports for like days on end while people were like quarantined per se. Did that ever happen to you?
Oh, yeah. So that's, I guess, leading into one of your other questions. It was crazy. We were finishing in Buenos Aires, Argentina, January 19th, 2020. And my wife had told me in December, oh, there's some like virus in China, like two people are infected. And I was like, oh, okay. Because there was a little scare some years earlier in South Korea with it was a virus that wasn't transmitted by air. It was a different, so not many people got infected. But um, she kept talking about it, and then we land in Korea January 20, and like the next day, things started to shut down. And this is before everybody else shut down. So we were wearing masks since January 2020. And our boss sent us an email like, sorry to inform you, everybody from China and Korea, can't work on the cruise ships. We were like, oh no. So I was stuck in Korea, which turned out to be a good thing because Korea took care of this problem very, very well until 2021 June when we started our next contract. But I was telling my friends in the U.S. like this is gonna spread, like wear masks and then March and April hit and the whole world kind of was like, oh, and then the story.
Yeah,
So,
you don't need to
but
remind me.
January to March was like people didn't understand. Like couldn't go out. I had to wear a mask every day. They were like, huh, you know,
This
glad
is
I'm
pretty
not there.
serious. Yeah, this is pretty
Yeah.
serious. I see
So
what you mean. Did you have any scares? I guess just to jump into that question, did you have any scares with you and your family?
no, thankfully, yeah, which is good.
Very much. All right, that's good to hear. So let's get back to the
Yeah.
drumming. So because we can now at least try to put COVID a little bit behind us. But
Yeah.
this one I accidentally skipped. But what sort of drumsticks do you use?
Uh, Vic Firth. I used the 5B or the Extreme 5B, and the Extreme 5B is just for when an entertainer, like on the cruise ship, asks for more, like give me more volume, and yeah, it just has that extra weight to it. Um, and then the 5B is just, it's a really comfortable. I would just choose that for any situation. And then for a quieter, like a jazz background music kind of stick, I'd go with a 5A. I've tried a lot of sticks, so um, yeah, I'm pretty set on Vic Firth. I don't like Vader too much. Um, Promark, not too much. So I always go back to Vic Firth. So
Did you try to experiment with any other sticks before jumping into Vic Firth, or you just be like, Vic Firth, I like the feel of this. This is what I'm going to roll with. Was that how it was?
uh, I tried the off-brand from Guitar Center. They're called Sound Percussion. When I lived in the U.S., I heard they were like Vader sticks that were rejects, so they had a little bit of curve to them. I like those. But I was in college. I had to save money. But then I started to play shows that were louder, and those sticks would just break like, instantly. So Vic Firth is yeah, it just works. I don't know what they're doing. I don't like the maple versions that Vic Firth has because it's like I don't have anything in my hand. Hickory is a little bit heavier, and yeah. So the balance is good. Everything is good. Yeah.
It's just that feel too. That's how it was with me as well. Because
Yeah.
I just always been rolling with Vic Firth as well, and it's like I don't know if I want to switch because then I don't know if it would be I want to just give up Vic Firth because I still got these sticks that aren't broken yet. So
Yeah.
it's that sort of thing. And I
Can
forgot
I
to
ask
ask
what model do you use?
the drum set or the sticks.
The stick model.
I believe it was 5A. So
5. Okay.
I tend to
Nice.
roll with I do faster music on my channel too, so I do like the metal and death metal kind of songs. So
Okay.
the thing is, you need to have your hands pretty light and they more on the wrist whenever you play like the real fast stuff. So that way you're not tiring out your arms and shoulders whenever you're trying to play fast. So and
Exactly.
I was gonna try to jump at this question up. Do you guys do orchestral versions of songs like "Stairway to Heaven," "Bohemian Rhapsody," and songs
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And it's really fun. So we have a 7-piece band. It's not really an orchestra, but uh, usually uh, the entertainer will come in with a track. So there's, vocals and strings and other sounds that will be playing with us, um, that's synced up to a click. So a lot of playing with a metronome, and a lot of time changes, especially in Bohemian Rhapsody. So
I had to
yeah,
ask
it's
because
fun.
I had to ask because when I was in orchestra, we did kind of the same songs: "Stairway to Heaven," "Bohemian Rhapsody." We actually did "Kansas," "Carry On Wayward Son."
Mhm.
I have to really dig back in my memory here, but I know those were the three. I know we did Bohemian Rhapsody actually. Actually, we did that twice. I think "Stairway to Heaven," and
Uh,
darn it, I can't think of it right now, so I'm
no,
drawing a
it's
blank.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
we did. Oh, we did Stairway with this guy from Australia, and he did it on ukulele. Which in rehearsal I was like, this is not right. And then he had a pedal for distortion on a ukulele, so it was pretty crazy.
oh,
Um,
that's what you're doing. Then that's like
yeah,
it starts at you like, oh, now it sounds right. That sounds right. Okay, I see.
yeah,
But
yes.
getting back into drumming, what do you love most about drumming?
Wow. Uh, I guess it's not playing so much. I mean, I love playing, but I'm like a total nerd about drum history, drum rhythms from different countries. Uh, yeah, I love the history because the drum set is basically it's a little over 100 years old, and I just eat up everything from the drummers with Louis Armstrong to the drummers today. I just can't get enough of it. So um, yeah, that's what I love. I love geeking out on stories, people's gear, what they use. Like the first drummer, um, he didn't have a bass drum pedal, so William F. Ludwig came and measured his right foot. He saw he was tapping it, and then he made a device that would hit, the bass drum, and that's what we use today. Like I love little things like that, and uh, yeah, it just makes it more fun. It makes everything less intimidating because you see a lot of Instagrammers chopping out and like, oh, I wish I could do that, but you know, there, there's a lot of drummers who play for a living, they make money, and they don't do that because you'd get fired if you played all that fast stuff in the wrong place. Um, but yeah, I just like learning, and yeah, yeah, I'm just a geek, a nerd about that. So
Yeah, I can see what you mean, but I've always broken it down to stuff like this. It's like it's good, it's therapeutic because it allows you to help release all the stress after a good long stressful
yeah,
day. Though if you're playing something that's like
yes,
real complicated, then it just adds to it too. So it's best to
yeah,
play easier stuff so that way you're able to like have more fun. Like able to relieve yourself, that sort of thing. And
yeah,
I say also the exercise is like number two because obviously when you're playing fast, that kind of music too, you burn up a good amount of calories and then a lot of sweat comes out too. So that's always fun.
Yes. Yes.
Then I
I
think I was gonna say the emotion would be the last one, but what were you gonna say?
uh like about actually playing the drums. Like the thing I enjoy is just playing with new people. Because I don't really have a band. I I don't know. I don't really like starting a band or working out music with people. I like playing with new people and just playing on the gig for the first time together and just kind of figuring out how we play and working it out from there while people are watching us. I like that. So
Yeah, absolutely too.
yeah.
Let's jump into your YouTube channel. So you named it Spiro Drums.
Yeah.
I guess how'd you come up with the name, and then like what made you just roll with it?
Yeah, I just thought, oh, what could I do? Spiro drums, and I just left it. So that's when I had like 3 subscribers, maybe 2. And yeah, I made it for just to improve my drumming. Because sometimes I'd hear recordings of myself and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to hear myself. I don't want to hear that back. And people would say, oh, it sounds fine, but I'd hear things, I wouldn't like, and so I don't really write this on my channel, but every upload is every batch of uploads is me trying to improve something. So it's not me trying to make money or getting a lot of subscribers. It's just trying to improve whatever. And this last batch of uploads is specifically for my right hand, which plays the hi-hat and the ride cymbal. I'm trying not to rush it or play it faster than my other limbs, which is also kind of geeky. And so yeah, I'm trying to like fine tune everything. I'm trying to enjoy listening to myself, which is really, really hard. So I finally got there.
I see. Sorry, I was going to jump into my point, but
No, it's okay.
from some of the things that I learned from people was people I've at least interviewed, they've always talked about YouTube being as like their sort of diary per se. So it like helps track like how far you came in terms of like playing drums and stuff like that outside. The subscribers, everything else is just really like icing on the cake, but it's more so an historical record. Like, hey, this is where I was at when I first started. Then depending on like what sort of gear I got to enhance my drum covers, what songs I started playing with, and how well I started doing these sort of techniques. That's kind of what it does too. So
yeah.
Do you just strictly do drum covers, or do you include anything else like live footage from the cruise?
Yeah, live footage. I include that. I'm. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, only drum covers. Yep.
Do you ever consider like maybe trying to expand like vlogs, maybe reviews if you could? I know you mentioned you're a nerd a little bit, so I was curious if there'd be something you want to do with that.
Yeah, I reviewed some products, but I don't like to hear my voice, so I'm not gonna be listening to this interview later. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you gotta wait at least another month before we post this one here, buddy. So don't worry about that. But I guess, do you get a little camera shy? Is that what it is, or is it just?
No, I think it's my voice.
All right.
So yeah, I did a few lessons like about a jazz drummer. His name is Max Roach, and I did the voiceover and I played and then I talked. And yeah, I need to get into that more. So get over that fear. So
I was gonna say you're humbling yourself or you're degrading yourself. I don't know which one to do though. So
yeah,
I'd say I feel bad if you're degrading yourself because people should know you got more than what you know. You just gotta break that sort of fear.
Yeah.
But let's see, talked about that. Who would you consider has been your biggest influences?
I'd say the drummer I just mentioned, Max Roach, and maybe Jack DeJohnette. They're old jazz drummers. Max is, if you don't know about Max, he's known for having full albums of only drum solos where he'd play melodies and then improvise and then play the melody again. So he's basically showing people that, he's like a pianist or, the drums are musical. And then Jack DeJohnette doesn't have the greatest technique, but has more like a energy and kind of like a fire to his playing, more of a free kind of playing, which I like. And yeah, it's just fun to listen to both of them.
Do you strictly stick mostly to jazz, or do you also try to get into some classic rock and other genres of music?
Yeah, I like classic rock. I like doing covers of Tom Petty. I'd like to do some Led Zeppelin, but they always get blocked. I'm sure there's a way to unblock those. Beatles, I love the Beatles. Yeah, and then I do some jazz too, and then I do some free jazz too. And I think some people don't like that as much, but it's basically an out of time style drumming, and I just play out of time and go crazy. So, and when I find those songs where I want to do that, I'm like, yes, I got to do that. So, yeah.
I see. Is there anything you like to try to do with your YouTube channel? Is there anything like you hope to achieve, or do you hope to perhaps send some sort of message out to people who subscribe to your channel?
Nope. I just try to keep it as the diary, like you said. Just try to keep getting better at what I do, and I hope that shows through my videos. Yeah.
They'll hopefully take some sort of lesson from it too, because actually, let me see where you are right now. I was saying you're only 13 away from 700. That's actually a good milestone too. So I mean, you're getting there, bud. You're getting there.
Yeah.
So you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
I just took the questions away. Okay. So walk us through the process when it comes to making your drum covers. So start from point A. How do you get to point Z in this case?
Okay, so let's see. So I usually record twice a month, and I usually bring in like 5, 6, or 7 covers, and I just do them one take in like 2 hours. So in 2 weeks, I gather like 20 songs, either with SoundCloud.
That's SoundCloud.
It's right? SoundCloud. So it's an app, and I just put it up to the speakers wherever I am. I'm like, hey, I like this song, and I let it find the song, and then I download it, check it if it gets blocked, and then I just go from there. And then I sometimes sit down, think about songs I've liked in the past, and just create a list. And then take away songs that are fun to play but not fun to listen to. Take away songs that are fun to listen to and not fun to play. And I find those songs that are fun to listen to and fun to play, which is hard. So, yeah.
I see. What sort of gear? I was gonna say, what sort of gear do you use?
For recording?
Yeah, I use a Final Cut Pro for mine, and that really seems to get the job done, as well as being able to export it afterwards, either in a 1080p or 4K, depending on the length of the videos. So I guess, do you use something like Final Cut Pro, Logic in terms of recording?
I use just iMovie and GarageBand, and I use this AT2050 as my overhead. I use a SM57 on my bass drum, and that's it. I was at a 4 mic setup before, but it got kind of crazy, and I'm nerdy, so it just got too complicated for myself. Yeah, yeah, and then I have a Sony A7C mirrorless camera with some nice lenses. I went crazy with those. So yeah, I'm improving my drumming and also my um, camera work every cover. Trying to get the focus right, and I, yeah. So I've been uploading 4K videos, but now I'm doing 1080 videos because it's just faster and easier. And I like to do a lot of covers in my sessions, and I like to upload everything at the same time. And yeah, 1080 works better for me. Plus, everybody views everything on a cell phone, so I can't really tell the difference.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
cell phones these days, yeah, they start getting a lot better because first off, they're set to automatic, so they're automatically going to get you the best kind of picture possible whenever it's like focusing in on something. So that's always a
right,
big thing
right,
too. Even
right,
though
right.
using like GoPros and the cameras you had mentioned, they're still meant to be like those ones that pick up the shots, those crucial shots, we should say, and they're able to like bring it together and that sort of thing too. But it's at that point now where you really can't tell a difference between them unless you like really look closely. If you got like a
Right,
sharp eye for that stuff, then maybe you can notice the difference. But not us.
right.
We're just normal guys who just say like, I like the way the
Yeah,
picture looks. We're gonna roll with that
yeah.
picture and everything too. So
I saw one of your videos. What kind of camera do you use?
I actually kind of moved away, but I did use three. And the first one I did mention was a GoPro. I got my Hero 8 here, and I was pretty happy too because I finally got a cord in for it, so now it allows me to do live streams and stuff like that. My second one was this Surfola, which I haven't used a whole lot recently. I got to figure out how to get back into using it. Then one other angle I started doing was my phone because it shoots really well, and I like place it to
Nice,
my right. So GoPro on the left, Surfola in the center, and then the cell phone on the right. So it works,
nice.
but obviously you got to make sure you line them all up. So
Yeah,
fortunately, if you're able to find out if it's like a crash in the beginning there, you just roll that, or if there's like a certain hit, the first hit kind of leading into the song, or whenever the drums want to come in, that's at least what you do. And then just get as close enough as you can. It's all good.
that was one of my biggest struggles starting out. It's like, you know, lining up the audio and the video, and then being like, "Hey, that's nice," and then I'd go to the end of the video, and it, you know, it'd just be a mess.
It
My
doesn't
arms
line
would
up,
be
yeah.
moving. It didn't line up. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, I see what you mean. All right, let's get into some fun questions right now. So I wasn't able to send them all. I think there was a little bit of a limit when I sent them through Instagram. So let's start with the first one here. Let's start with your favorite drink. You drink alcohol?
uh, yeah, but yeah, I don't drink it a lot. Maybe once a week. So, I like Guinness. Yeah, and cheap beer. I'm pretty simple.
Is it the real heavy Guinness or is it more the lighter kind of Guinness?
Uh, just the normal kind. I don't know the. I didn't know there were two.
Well, I always like to say it's the Irish Guinness because it's real heavy. It's a darker kind of Guinness too. So I think sometimes they put like
Okay.
little art at the top on the foam right there, so may make like a little smiley face to you, so you could chug as many of
Ah,
those smiley faces as you want. Plus, there was a funny
yeah.
story
So
with Dave Mustaine with those.
ah, yeah. I like the Irish Guinness because I got into it. Yeah, I got into Guinness because the cruise ship stopped at some ports in Ireland, and it was very nice. Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think it's a heavier version of Guinness per se. I think
Ah,
Pio might correct me for it, but I tried it once when I was in Germany, and that was in high school, and the rules are a little bit less, so to speak. So,
I see.
but I tried it. I wasn't really much of a fan of it. I like to drink light beers, but I love sweet, heavy drinks, if you know what I mean, like Long Island iced teas, stuff like that.
Ah, okay. Okay. Nice.
So if you mix a lot of like peach schnapps and stuff like that, those are so good.
Mm.
And then let's do non-alcoholic. What's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Coke.
Coke.
Yeah.
No Pepsi.
And okay, I'm gonna get a little bit nerdy again. Pepsi from a fountain, and it's amazing, like at a baseball game with a hot dog. And Coke in a can is great too, but Pepsi in a can maybe not so much.
Well, it just varies between certain restaurants. I don't know if it's kind of like up north, it's like Coke, and then south, it's all Pepsi and stuff like that. But I'm just thinking, like, if you have to go into a restaurant and it's we got Pepsi products, would you still get it?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
All right,
Yeah,
it's at least enough to sleep under the radar, so to speak.
yeah.
All right, all right. Was there ever a
And then
song? Oh, I'm sorry. What were you
I was gonna say second place is bubble milk tea.
saying? Bubble milk tea.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the
So,
main drink from Korea?
uh, no, it's actually maybe from Taiwan or something. But have you ever had it?
I never did. No, I'm
Oh,
much
you
of a
need.
tea or coffee guy.
Ah, okay, okay. But try it sometime if you have the courage.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm walking into. I guess can you tell me what I'm walking into?
Tapioca, black little bubbles in black tea and sugar, and yeah, it's really good. It's like jelly in black tea that's sweetened. It's good.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to come out there and ask you to buy me one for me. So
Okay.
I'll try eventually. I don't know if they have any around here though, too, because the city I grew up in, Pittsburgh, along the east coast of the states, it's diverse in a way, but it's more like your Irish, Germans, some Italian, Slovak
See.
was another one, Polish,
Mm,
mostly European. So you have to really dig deep for the Asian and Korean stuff
yeah,
too.
I see.
So I'm not sure, but I think after this interview, I'm just gonna be like, nope, I'm not gonna try it. So, but if we ever run into each other in Korea, I say,
Yeah.
give me a drink.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right. So the question I was gonna jump into, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but was there ever a song that was too tough for you to play, and did you give up, or did you just call it quits for the day and come back later?
Yeah. There's always the one song, Rosanna by Toto. Have you heard of that one?
It sounds familiar, and
Yeah.
I get stuck in like certain artists at times, and this is something I realized
Yeah.
recently. I only listen to certain artists at certain times. It's like it's either this artist or nothing at all, and that's kind of a fault. But go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Yeah, that's a song that I've prepared, and then I'm like, nope, not gonna do this. I'll save it for another time. So I know that I'm gonna do it, but I'm not ready to do it yet. So yeah. And then I tried one, and I knew that I'm never gonna try it in the future, which was a Dream Theater song. I don't know what was wrong with me. It's the dance.
Dance of Eternity.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought I could try it. I like learned the outline, the form of it. I don't play double bass, but yeah, I could play it about 45% okay. And then I'm like that I shouldn't even try it. I'm going to lose subscribers. People are going to throw tomatoes at me and yeah. But I am going to try the Rosanna sometime, maybe next year. But it's still scaring me. So,
It's funny you mentioned about Dream Theater because me and a friend of mine have I also done a couple of solo songs as well, but a couple songs like "Pull Me Under" was a good one too, and it's a little bit tricky, but it's at least it's doable per se. And same with the "Root of All Evil." So if you're looking to at least try it, something expanded, your interest in everything. But you said you don't roll with double bass, so that's going to be something that you're going to have to try to do either with one foot or stuff like that. So I'll let you decide on that, but that's just my recommendations. So
yeah, yeah. I know Pull Me Under. I might try that. Yeah.
that
But
one,
does it have double bass?
it does, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you listen to it too, and this is something I tend to recommend is like listen real carefully with your ears. And some people have a hard time with the memory too and trying to distinguish what's double bass or what's the bass, tongs, and then snare and like some sort of any cymbals that he's hitting, or he's like hitting the ride, crash, and hi hat, that sort of thing. It comes
Yeah.
down to that. So that's I think that's the hardest thing with drummers, especially those who just want to be hobbyist drummers. And I know it kind of was with me, but then it helped out over time with like just listening to it over and over again. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's just what you got to
Eh,
do. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but good luck to you. I know Dream Theater is a tough one too, but I guess have you tried any of the grunge kind of songs like Nirvana?
Uh no, but I love that music. I Is Pearl Jam grunge?
They might lump them into it,
Yeah.
but if you're, I mean, here's what I say: don't constrict yourself just because it sounds tough. Just go with it and just try to improvise it as best you can.
Yeah, that's
Improvisation is the best sort of art a drummer could do.
yes.
So
You're right. I find myself sometimes getting stuck into what the original drummer played, and I'm like, oh, I need to play exactly how they played it or as close as possible. And then I'm like, if the person who wrote the song called me, I wouldn't be thinking like this. I'd be playing like myself. So sometimes you gotta take a step back and do what you said and just improvise like yourself. So
I would say, do you suffer from like a perfectionism in a certain degree?
me?
Yeah,
Yeah. So and that's yeah, and I push it far and then I have to take a step back and be like, is this gonna be fun for people to listen to? And yeah, there's a balance. Sometimes, yeah, gotta keep myself in check. So yeah.
I will say I suffered from that too. And friends of mine actually told me like, don't worry so much about like trying to be like completely spot on with what the drummer's doing. If you have to improvise in certain spots and it still like keeps the beat and everything, it'll be fine too. People will still like it and
Yes.
everything too. So
Yes.
try to break that habit, and I think it'll make your life so much better. So not a bit of advice
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
All right
Thank
then.
you.
No worries. Which drum cover did you love the most?
I thought about that and I don't really have one. I really like thinking about my next cover and getting excited about improving whatever it is I'm trying to improve. So yeah, I thought really hard about that, but well, I guess I could say it's my first cover. Um, the first video I ever made it like I set up the camera and it cut up, it cut my head out, and the cell phone I had was the exposure and the white balance were going crazy, so it looked like I was in a haunted house. Lights were dimming and brightening, and I had my audio interface and I didn't know how to use it, and I ended up recording from my laptop instead. So I recorded from the microphone in my laptop instead of the microphone set up in the room. It's just hilarious, and only I know that, but now everybody watching this will know. So
I was gonna say I think it might be Toto afterwards if you're able to get through that song
yeah, exactly. Yes.
eventually. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. So
Yeah.
all right, and what's currently your favorite song, or one that you happen to listen to a lot?
Let's see. Mm, yeah, I really like um, Tom Petty. So you don't know how it feels. I think that's the title. Uh, yeah, it's just I think the drummer on there is Steve Ferroni, and he's just laying it down so well. I'm sure it's not a drum machine. I'm sure it's Steve playing drums, but it just sounds so great. So yeah, you don't know how it feels, Tom Petty.
I'll have to check it out. I think that's how it is, or I might have also included "To Be Me," that one. But I know what song you're talking about, and
Yeah,
I love it too. And it's like you can't really change the drums up, even though it's like just real simple.
right.
And then sometimes with a little splash in
Exactly.
between here. So it's almost like
Exa-
I don't think we can. I think we have to just keep rolling with like how it is, and maybe just improvise in certain spots. But I mean,
You
rest in
know,
peace
the
to
cool
Tom
thing
Petty.
is you can watch the live versions, and the drummers maybe take more liberties, and you can add those to your, you know, arsenal of licks and stuff. So
Certain liberties, yeah. But
yeah, yeah.
I had actually saw Tom Petty, and I think it was either the year before he passed or
Uh,
it was one of those times. But he had come to Pittsburgh, and really great show. But we were up higher seats, but we were able to at least get a nice view down there on the stage from so far away. But
Nice.
crap, did he?
Was it with Heartbreakers?
I think it was. I have to check my phone again because
Nice.
actually I don't know how many. I had a crappy phone back then, so I kind of wish I had this kind of phone back then, so I was able to videotape that whole concert, or at least get a good chunk of it when he played some of his hit songs. But definitely,
Wow.
"Free Falling" was definitely
Nice.
a song too. But rest in peace.
So
Tom Petty.
you probably saw Steve Ferroni playing drums. Nice.
I want to say probably, but obviously we're looking at the front man and everybody else. But every now and again, I looked towards the drummer and everything. I kind of
Yeah,
wish
yeah.
I'd been young and stupid at the time, as I like to say, but it was still good to see Tom Petty and everything. So,
Nice.
all right. Spiro? I almost said
Yeah,
Spyro.
it's okay.
You should have said Spyro, I think. Do you know Spyro the Purple Dragon? Have you ever played that game?
I have. Yeah. For a PlayStation, yeah. I've been called that. I've been called other things, so it's fine.
All right. So, Spiro, we're reaching the end, close to the end of my podcast. Did you have any questions for me or anything else you want to say before we jump to the last question?
No questions, but you made this really comfortable and easy, and you're a great host.
No worries. Gotta treat everybody right, that sort of thing. We gotta break down barriers because COVID, and this kind of leads into the question here too. So, COVID kind of really seemed mess with everybody mentally in some sort of capacity too. So, in these days, it looks like people really need some sort of hope or maybe some sort of meaning. So, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people?
Yeah, I thought about this too. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Yeah, if you're listening to this and you have your own channel, just do covers that you want to do. Don't be intimidated by other channels, no matter what your level is. Everybody has something special to bring to the table, and it might take you longer to find your special something, whether it's playing fast or playing slow. But once you find it, people are going to notice and they're going to keep coming back to your channel. And yeah, that's my message of hope.
Spoken like a true prodigy. All right, so Spiro, we've reached the end of my podcast right here. Do you have
right.
any shout outs or any last words you want to say before we officially close?
Yeah, I want to thank Drumman 190 for finding me when I had like 10 subscribers, and now I have almost 700. And it's basically because of him and his humongous community and Godfather-like qualities. And Earl Bennett, he's also been really nice to me. So yeah, check out both of their channels, Drumman 190 and Earl Bennett. Yeah.
I actually have, and I'm also good friends with him too. And
Yes.
Drumman, he keeps himself busy, but I've also interviewed Earl, and I've spoken with Earl a good number of times as well. Did they just
Good.
help kind of promote your channel and everything?
Drumman, yeah, he put me on the Drummers to Watch. We did some collaborations, and yeah, he's just really nice. Yeah, when I was frustrated with subscribers, not writing nice comments, I'd ask him how to deal with those things, and he was always open to, helping me with anything. And Yeah, and Earl is. I connect with him about that. Very nerdy about that.
A couple of nerds just came together, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I see. And there are others. Drums by Ash Wells, Drumatic,
Yes.
you name them. Joey Cocker Drums.
Yeah.
They're all here for you, bud. So
Cool.
all you have to do is just reach out.
Yeah.
Get to know. Don't be a stranger to everybody, too. So, all right. So, Spiro, we reached the end of my podcast right here and everything. So, everybody, make sure you go support this guy and everything. He's near and there. He's 13 shy of 700. Let's get him there, buddy. So, all right. So, Spiro, thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank
Stay
you,
safe.
Brian. Thank you.
Stay tuned, y'all.